Local and live. Covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk TriState.
Welcome back to Let's Talk TriState. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Our next guest, we have Brittany Leach, who hasn't been here in a couple months, and you are the Community Development Manager of WIN, which is Women in Need. And thank you so much for coming back with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I know we have a lot to cover with it being October, is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So this is a perfect time for you to come in and talk about WIN.
Yes.
But before we get to that, let's just go over WIN Victim Services. What are the services that you provide, and what is the mission of your organization?
Sure. So we are the local Domestic Violence and Rape Crisis Center. We cover Franklin and Fulton counties. So we are there for all victims, regardless of gender, age, ability, anyone who's experiencing domestic violence, abuse, sexual assault in relationships. We're there to provide services like we have a 24-hour hotline where they can talk to an advocate. We have counseling. We have individual or group counseling sessions that people can they can do either in person or over the phone. We also have an emergency shelter. So if somebody is not safe in their home, they have nowhere else to go, we do have a safe place for them to stay that is secure, and we do house male and transgender individuals in our shelter, as well as females and children. So we can take anybody who's experiencing and fleeing domestic violence.
And so that probably can be confusing because it's women in need, but you do service anybody essentially who is experiencing some type of domestic violence and needs a safe place to go.
Yeah, so we've been Women in Need since the 70s. We realized that people didn't realize what all we did. So we did recently rebrand to WIN Victim Services to kind of make it more inclusive, to let people know that, yes, we're still WIN, but we help everybody who's experiencing domestic or sexual violence.
And so with it being October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, why is it important to have this dedicated time to raise awareness about domestic violence?
It is so interesting to me. I've been in this field for going on 15 years, doing education in communities across Pennsylvania, actually. But I've been in Franklin County for 10 years now. And it's so interesting that no matter...
With this organization for 10 years?
With WIN, yes.
Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's so interesting to me that no matter how much I go out and talk about it, people are still like, I had no idea. I had no idea that this was an issue here. I had no idea that you guys serve so many people. I had no idea what all you guys did, or that you were even able to help men. So it is important to raise that awareness so that people know help is available. It's not just physical violence. There's so much more to it.
And that was going to be one of my next questions. What are some misconceptions about domestic violence and what exactly it is?
Usually I get the, even whenever I haven't been in this field and I've gone to trainings on domestic violence, it's always the same cliche of a female who is the victim, they're a homemaker, the husband is abusive and an alcoholic. And that's not, we do see that occasionally, but that's not a lot of what we see. It does start a lot with that kind of emotional abuse, those really controlling behaviors. And there are things that people often miss or they think that are normal in relationships. And then they can kind of keep going and eventually maybe turn into physical violence.
I'm assuming the word gaslighting is something that you're hearing more and more frequently.
We've been talking about it for a long time, but thanks to TikTok and other social media, it's becoming a much more known about issue. But we've been talking about it for so long because of the fact that it is so common. We also see a lot with financial abuse. That's one thing that we're kind of focusing on a little bit this year, is talking about financial abuse. We see it in most relationships that are controlling. Because when you take away someone's financial independence, it makes it very, very difficult for them to leave.
Can you expand on that a little bit, financial abuse? That's a term I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, so financial abuse is basically using finances, money, or even assets to control and manipulate their partner. And oftentimes it's already normal life situations that person can use to their advantage. It's not like they're purposely setting those things up. Sometimes they do, but oftentimes it could be, well, the car's in my name, so if you take it, I'm going to report it stolen. Or it could be one person moved in with the other, and now because they're on the lease, it's easier for them to evict that person and make sure that they're homeless. It can be things like controlling the finances, like only one person has access to the accounts. But we also see things like, especially if that person tries to leave the relationship, that person will harass them at work, try to get them fired, basically making it difficult for them to keep a job.
If somebody believes that they might be in a situation, a domestic abuse situation, what would be some questions that person could maybe ask themselves, or something to think about to kind of determine, yeah, I do need help, or this is not normal?
Yes. So we actually talk about like red, yellow, and green flags.
Okay.
I know red flags are kind of come up a lot now in when we talk about relationships and things, like, oh, that's a red flag, which kind of asking those things like, hey, is there something here that's just making me feel not right about this situation? Like, is this something that I'm okay with, or is it something I've been putting up with? Kind of keeping track of those like little, like, hey, what are those little red flags? Like, what's really going on here? Why is this person maybe doing this? Because there are times, like I talk about context all the time. Like, there might be a relationship where only one person has control of the finances because their partner's really bad with money. Right. And that's totally fine. That can be totally healthy. But in another one where if someone's keeping track because they want that control and they want to make sure that person's not taking money or building up finances so they can leave the relationship, that's whenever it's controlling and abusive.
Interesting. Wow. How can WIN support somebody if somebody believes that a friend or a family member might be in a situation experiencing domestic violence? Can you support the loved ones
Absolutely.
in that situation too?
Yes. So our services are for victims, but as well as their non-abusive significant others. So we can also help if there's children involved who are maybe witnessing it, as well as, there's been plenty of times where I have a parent who calls in and it's like, I don't know what to do. And we're like, okay, let's talk about it. How can you be supportive to this person? Or maybe helping educate them a little bit on these situations. 'Cause like, I'm so frustrated, they keep going back. And we walk them through, here's why a lot of times people go back, and how can you still be supportive and try to not get frustrated and give up on them.
Do you ever have people call and come in maybe you said you have therapy?
Counseling. Yeah, we don't have therapists.
I knew therapy was the wrong word. Counseling that somebody could do with their partner if they both, if both of them were thinking something's not right in our relationship, we both think we need a little bit of help. Is that something that you...
Unfortunately, we're not able to provide that, but we can often make referrals to actual to mental health counselors or relationship counselors, therapists. We do that too if somebody has mental health on top of experiencing domestic violence, which is very, very common.
Sure.
If it's to the point where, hey, we can't really address domestic violence without addressing this first, then we will also refer them out to other supports too. We really work within the community to make sure people are getting all of the help that they need. We know that we can't fix everything ourselves.
Right. So you would be a good first step to take if somebody is just has some questions, has some concerns, I'm not sure what to do about this. It sounds like you're able to then allocate and, okay, maybe we can't help you with this, but here's who can, if it's something outside of what you guys are able to do within your facility. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely, yes. We are always there to help provide resources if it's something that we're not necessarily able to help with. So,
is domestic violence overly prevalent in Franklin and Fulton counties?
It is much more common than what people think. So I know, like, in our last fiscal year, we helped over 1,200 adults and 181 children.
Yeah, that's a big number.
Yes.
For a small
for two small counties. Yes.
Wow. And so if somebody is listening or watching and thinking, I just want to grab a little bit more information, this is somehow resonating with me, where would they get in touch with you? How would they get started?
We always have our website where they can kind of get some information about us and our services at winservices.org, or they can just call our 24-hour helpline at 717-264-4444.
Oh, that's
fairly easy to remember.
Sure.
And it is 24 hours. We always have a counselor and an advocate who is there even during our not business hours. They will page us. We will give them a call back within 15 minutes, and we're there to answer questions and help them, provide them with resources and options.
Is there anything that you guys are doing in the month of October to raise awareness, any kind of events or anything in the community?
We do have, if you drive around Main Street in Chambersburg or Waynesboro, you'll see purple ribbons out on the meters or on the trees.
Yep.
So that's one thing that we're doing. I know I do monthly virtual presentations on all of our services where I go through those a little bit more in depth of what all we do. We were supposed to have a cornhole event in November, at the very beginning of November, that we were gearing up for. Yeah, we realized it was the first weekend of archery season and a big Penn State game. So that is now in February, so people have more time if they like playing cornhole to support us. So we're working on a bunch of events and things here in the future to really continue raising that awareness. I do a lot of trainings, presentations in the community, so even if businesses want us to come in and talk to employees, like we can do trainings on domestic violence in the workplace, as well as just here's our services, how can we work together?
How can the community support WIN?
We do get federal funding and everything, but we really rely on our community for support. So any kind of donations, especially because we have people coming in sometimes who had to leave everything or they forgot to grab things. And we do get donations of a lot of toiletries and everything, but sometimes we have someone who's like, well, I can't use that, or I need clothing that you guys don't have. So we really rely on monetary donations to help people get what they need.
Absolutely.
As well as, we have sometimes people come in and they're like, well, I have a car, I have a job, but I don't have any gas money. So we'll give them gas cards to really help build that financial independence. So we really try to meet everybody where they are and meet their individual needs on what they need to be successful. As well as I know right now we are working actually with all of you to do our Thanksgiving meal program.
Oh, okay. I don't know about this yet. I'm sure it's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah. In the past, we're standing and has worked with Food Lion to help us get turkeys. I think in the past we've helped 50 to 60 families every single year with providing them a turkey and vegetables and fruit and pie so that they can have a Thanksgiving meal with their family. Because
this time of year is very difficult for so many people for so many reasons, and that's one of them, sure.
And we also have a Christmas program coming up. It hasn't been released yet since we're still in October, but that will probably come up in the next couple of weeks. So if people want to get involved, they can always check our Facebook and Instagram. We post on there what we're looking for. We have an Amazon wish list of things that we're always looking for. Or they can call us and say, hey, what do you guys need?
Yeah, that's great. And Brittany, is there anything else about WIN that we haven't covered that you want to make sure we get the information out? Anything else that I haven't asked that you wanted to make sure that we cover?
I think we've covered all of our services, just knowing that it is something that it does happen here. You're not alone. We're here to help and provide all of the options that we can, but also safety plan with anybody to say, okay, how you know your situation best. We're here to support you. We're not here to tell you what to do, but we're here to help you come up with options and ideas and how to help wherever you want to go.
Sure. I think sometimes this is one of those things you just don't want to think about. No, this doesn't happen in our area. No, it doesn't. But it's everywhere, and it's great that we have you in the community, and that we have Women in Need and the services that you provide. So thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for being here today on Let's Talk Tri-State, and good luck to all of your upcoming events.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's talk Tri-State.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.